teach you. If the Lord does it to reach you, nobody even really needs you anyways.
Hey, what's up guys? My name is Zoran. I'm a local player at KingSlayer Cards. I'm the Zorga guy there.
This nigga be waxing all of us.
No, it's tough out here playing this deck because every time you play it, they have all the PGs in the world. But if they don't have the PGs, then this is the best deck forever and ever. So there's a bunch of ways you can build and play this deck. This is a new version of the deck that I've been testing out. I've tested out the Mask Zorga version of it. I've tested out pure Nadir. I've tested it with 8 orders, 9 orders, 10 orders. Doesn't really matter. All the ratios are out of whack. Just know this is a reminder, friendly reminder. You can build the deck however way you want. This is the most flexible and least flexible deck in Standard. So shout out to variants and, you know. So the ride line is not really surprising. It's just the old ride line. You can play the new one. The old one is so that you can dig 2 cards deeper into the deck. They're random draws, but if they get you what you need, then that's fine. If they don't get you what you need, then you can discard 2 normal units. If you don't and draw 2 triggers, then you were always meant to lose that game. The grade 2 is interchangeable. You can play the new one or you can play the old one. I like playing the old one because sometimes I play an order turn 1 so that I can get a card out of the deck. And if not, then you can always grab back any order that you dump with a specific grade 1 in this deck. And the grade 3 is Zorga Nadir. I got the secret rare version of it. It's all green and it looks kind of like puke.
Boy got money though.
Yeah, it's the only one that I have.
Stunned on us.
So the rest of the deck, I have 3 Persona rides. That's sort of self-explanatory. You could go to 2, but I have 3 in the deck. And I think we'll start with the units. So these are the units that get your pressure applied onto the board. Roaming Prison Dragon, everyone knows this card. It gets 10k in a crit. It gets 10k in the early game or a crit in the early game, but if you're on Zorga and you Alchemy Magic, it does both. Everyone calls this guy the Snail. I like calling him by his real name, Abomination of Impending Karma, because that is the most metal name in this deck. He does the same thing as Roaming Prison Dragon. He doesn't get power, but at the beginning of the battle phase, he plays himself out if you Alchemy Magic this turn, and he gets a crit. If your opponent's at grade 3 or greater. But you cannot use him in other Zorga decks like regular Blue Zorga or Mask Zorga. You can only play him with Nadir because he requires a Divine Skill Vanguard. And then his first skill is just, he gets power for every different named order in the bind zone, and he binds an order for Energy Blast 4. Sometimes you'll use it, sometimes you won't. In the very late game when you're trying to proc your Divine Skill, this guy can get like to 60, 70, 80k, 98k. But you probably have won or lost the game by then. The best card in the deck is Shadow Cloak. He dumps an order for free. He picks up your PGs. He picks up anything that you want, really, if you call it back with Nadir or if you call it with another order effect. He's just very good. The next card is a grade 1. It's a Fairy of Flower Nectar Coutier. It's not the Coutier from Bermuda Triangle, that card is banned. But this card says when you play it from hand, you pitch a card and then you dump an order that's not a Regalis piece, and then you get your Vanguard, the red text, you may play that order from drop zone. So it combos with Alchemy Magic. It lets you do so many plays that I don't really have time to explain it. It can pitch these cards if you're on grade 3. It can pitch Roaming Prison Dragon from your hand so he gets into the drop zone. It can pitch orders from your hand so that you can pick them up with another order in the deck. It's just super versatile. You can even pick it up with Shadow Cloak if you've played it on your grade 3 turn, just so that you could use it again for your next grade 3 turn. This card is crazy. You don't have to play it. Everyone plays different lists. You can play Seabreeze Abductor, Seabreeze Abduction, whatever his name is. You can play more copies of Philander. You can play more copies of Rogue Headhunter. You can even play the new double rare that came out in set 2 for Zorga, the specific booster that he got, which is pretty good. The next grade ones are Philander and Rogue Headhunter. Rogue Headhunter is really good because a lot of my orders cost counterblast. A lot of the good orders that I want to use repeatedly cost counterblast. And Philander is fat in the late game, and he also top 5 to millicard when you play him from hand. He's very good in the early game if you draw him, but if you draw him in the late game, he's still incredibly powerful because he gets your big guys to 50k plus. Here we have PGs, one Elementaria, that's self-explanatory. Now we have the orders. Let's see. So Angel Ladder is for Messiah, Shiranui, whatever that wants to mess with your board. You don't really have a hard time against Varga, so you don't mind them wiping your front row. But this is for the other decks that bind and get rid of your crit gainers permanently. Clouded Miasma is pretty good. It lets you revive a card, any card, and you can revive PGs to grab them with Shadow Cloak. Brand of Corpses is pretty good. It just gives free power, 10k to the column, whenever you call stuff by abilities. And you're going to call stuff by abilities because the dragons and the abominations call themselves from their own effects, and Zorga Nadir calls from the drop zone. We'll play one Clutch of Grudge Toxin. I can't read these cards upside down, but I'm going to do my best. And this card is just for the hostage matchups, I guess. Whatever you want to call them, hostage Rezael, hostage Luard. If you see a PG on the board, you're going to swing with your Vanguard first, and this gives it the red text to pop a card by popping one of your own cards. It's pretty good. It makes Zorga 23 or 33 on Persona Right turns. By the way, Zorga's going to be the weakest column in your deck. Sometimes he'll be big if you put a booster behind him with his skill. Command of Death's Restraint is very good at picking up orders or calling cards on the board for free, and you also get to mill a card, so you can call back your PG style with Shadow Cloak or just anything you want, really. Tearful Malice is for counter charge. It goes into Soul as well. We use a lot of Soul for our Blitz order, for our Divine Skill, for Shadow Cloaks, and for the grade 1 of the Ride Line effect. So sometimes we run pretty low, and it draws you a card. You could also sack your Roaming Prison Dragons before you call them back again, and you can do that. That is a legal play, so if you ever do that in a BCS and you get called it by your opponent for the judge call, shout out, that happened to me last year, then tell them that it is a legal play because these guys hit the drop zone first as cost. The only 2 of order that I play in this deck is Mythiarch Habitat. It fetches you a card from the top 7 and calls it. This card is stupid good in Nadir and in any version of Zorga now because you have Kutir. So what this does is that it picks up 2 orders from your drop zone and it binds itself. So when you Alchemagic, you bind it if it's in your hand, or if you Alchemagic it from the bind zone, you bind the card that you Alchemagic with from your hand as cost. So you gotta remember where stuff goes in terms of order of operation with this deck too. I don't play Black Magic. I should probably play Death Inviting Black Magic, but this list is always changing, it's always evolving. Zorga is a very diverse deck. And then I have the one of Sweet Dreams that become Evil Dreams. Oh, well, I read it wrong. Sweets that become an Evil Dream. It's got a fat guy on it. It just says draw 1 and then look at the top. You can mill it or leave it on top. So if you have the overtrigger on top, surprise, surprise, you win the game. Or you don't win the game. I don't know. It really depends. The one blitz order that I have is Fine Abolishment of Sins, or the Fine Drink of Abolishments for Sins. It draws you a card and it gets big for every order in your bind zone and in your drop zone that has a different name. First hold, last one. You can also play the Lascaria Blitz order so that you can activate this and the Lascaria Blitz order. I did have that in the deck. I took it out momentarily. I might put it back in again. Like I said, this is always ever changing, which is funny because I guess Chris Rain has that title, but this deck is always Highlander, always, all the time. Crits. I play 8 crits, 3 fronts. I have different rarities of the front triggers. Shiny one, it's a SP, and then a regular one because I'm a bum. I have the over trigger. I play the Stoic KO one. You can play, I guess, the red one, but the Stoic KO one is just all the triggers. So I don't know why you wouldn't want to play it when it's just a rainbow effect. And then I play 4 heals. You can play 4 regular heals or 2 and 2 of the effect heals. It really depends on your meta. It's a meta call, so if you see a bunch of decks that gain crits, I played against a lot of Blangmeyer recently, so I just wanted to add this in the deck. Or if you play against Varga a lot, you can play use the one that says if the attack has if the Vanguard or whatever unit has attacked twice or more that time, gets plus 15k shield. I'm jumbling all over my words, but basically you can choose this one or the other one, depending on your local scene or the meta that you're going into for BCS season. This list is not final. It's a tentative list. You'll probably see it changed if I play this in BCS. I don't know if I'm going to play this in BCS upcoming in Georgia and Florida because we'll have set 4 and 5 and the Strike deck sets out by that time. Shout out to Strike deck sets not being fair, but this deck is also not fair sometimes. So, oh, we have one of this. I already said that. That's the list.